Good afternoon. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can we have the clerk take the roll, please?
Jimenez,
Present.
Torres,
Present.
Cohen, Ortiz, present. Davis,
Here.
Doan,
Present.
Candelas,
Present.
Foley,
Here.
Patra,
Present.
Kamei,
Here.
Mahan.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. If you're able, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, great. Welcome, everyone. Today's invocation will be given by Deacon Ruben Solorio from Sacred Heart Nativity, and Council Member Torres will tell us more.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very sorry I have a mask because I have a small case of the sniffles, but I have my hand sanitizer here in hand for my bookends over here. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to introduce my very first invocator as council member, Deacon Ruben Solorio. I've known this individual for most of my life. He was one of the first employees and leaders of the Washington Youth Center that helped served a lot of underserved youth like myself in the Washington neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods of our downtown. Deacon Ruben Solorio has been president of Sacred Heart Nativity Schools in San Jose for the past 5 years and was ordained a permanent deacon for the Diocese of San Jose in 2012. He is also currently serving at my childhood church that myself and my family still attend, which is Sagrado Corazon and La Calle Willow in the Guadalupe, Washington neighborhood. So please help me welcome Deacon Ruben Solorio.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you, Mayor Mahan, beloved council members. It is with great pride that I am here as a proud product not only of San Jose, but as a servant as well, public servant that you all are. I am as well. And so I just share in a few words just to put us in the presence of great leadership that is obviously permeates here in this chambers. So leadership requires two virtues that seem very simple until they become very inconvenient: honesty and courage. All of you have earned the right to be here today by winning the trust of our community. But along with honor comes a duty of humility, integrity, and public service. So let's settle our hearts for just a moment in prayer. And when I am sharing here in prayer are words from great leaders, not only of our history as humanity, but also that currently live among us and inspire our very work. From Mother Teresa, the openness of our hearts and minds can be measured by how wide we draw the circle of what we call family. From Father Greg Boyle, Mother Teresa diagnosed the world's ills in this way: we've just forgotten that we belong to each other. Kinship is what happens to us when we refuse to let that happen. With kinship at the goal, other essential things fall into place. Without it, no justice, no peace. I suspect that were kinship our goal, we would no longer be promoting justice, we would just be celebrating it. From Cesar Chavez, let the spirit flourish and grow so that we will never tire of the struggle. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us so we can change the world. From Martin Luther King Jr., the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is our goal of true education. And from Mahatma Gandhi, strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength. And again, from our beloved Cesar Chavez, we're doing Christ's work here on earth, and we're reminded ever so much in the Beatitudes of what it is he wanted us to do, the thing above loving him and loving our neighbor. We are called on to be peacemakers at times. At times we're called to suffer persecution because of justice's sake. And at times we deal with those who are poor in spirit, the meek, those who mourn, and especially those who hunger and thirst for justice. At times we have to be merciful as we do our work. And also we see in our work those who are clean of heart. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve all people in the city of San Jose. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders that our community needs and deserves. Help us to see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us and to treat all people, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community and a city worthy of all our people. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen. Thank you again for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Deacon. Now, if Vice Mayor Kamei, Councilmember Davis, and Councilmember Foley would join me at the podium, we will recognize and proclaim Women's History Month.
In recognition and celebration of the vital role that women have and continue to play in American history, we will be lighting the San José City Hall tower and rotunda purple. The color purple represents honor and justice and dates back to the women's suffrage movement. This year's theme, Celebrating Women Who Tell Stories, honoring women past and present who have engaged in all types of media and storytelling. As we see the tower and rotunda lit tonight and over the next 4 days, may we reflect and lay tribute to all the female storytellers in our lives who have helped shape our future. I'm now going to turn it over to Councilmember Foley.
Thank you. What an honor to be speaking today on behalf of International Women's Day, or Women's Month. Don't we need a whole year? Each year gives us the opportunity to shine a light on the legacy of trailblazing women in the city of San Jose and across the world. Many women and girls throughout history have played an important role in building, shaping, and improving the lives of so many. As all of us stand here today, we find ourselves added to a list of women who are increasingly occupying meaningful spaces in local, national, and international politics. Despite decades of notable advances for women in their careers, we still continue to see gender gaps in roles like ours, which is why we continue to celebrate countless inspiring women this month. Every step taken and new path pursued creates one less hurdle future women and girls will have to endure on their own journey. I'm sure that all of us would be here indefinitely if we listed all the women who had any impact on our lives. On behalf of all women, I want to say thank you to all of the change makers that came before us, that made our jobs a possibility, and to the women who, like those standing with me today, continue giving women a seat and a voice at the table. And to our daughters, we have your backs. We support you. We encourage you. We love you. We offer our hand to help you climb the ladder to achieve the success and changes you wish to see in the world. With that, I pass the mic to Councilmember Davis.
Well, you can see why I'm proud to serve on the council with such intelligent, fearless, and inspiring women like Vice Mayor Kamei and Councilmember Foley. Each of us prioritizes the overall upward mobility of women, especially here in San Jose. We also, as you heard, remember and thank all the women who held these seats before us. They paved the way for women like us and for the generations after us to be involved in local government. One woman we give huge thanks to is County Supervisor Cindy Chavez. I am personally grateful to Cindy for her collaborative approach to public service. It's been an inspiration to me. Cindy has certainly made history in San Jose, and we commend her for all that she has accomplished so far as an elected official. And I'll tell you what she's working on this month. Cindy, I'll let her tell you what I meant to say.
The big reveal. Well, first of all, I wanted to just say to the women on the council how honored I am to be standing with all of you. And just to give one little piece of history here, whenever I think about Women's History Month, what gets me so excited is just thinking about the women that came before us and how we actually got to be here. And some of those women that I just want to name their names is Janet Gray Hayes, who was the first mayor of a large city in the country's history. Why do we honor her? Because when she got on the city council, she was the only woman and was unable to become mayor in their rotation system because they wouldn't allow her to become mayor. Susan Hammer. Susan Hammer led this county and obviously has passed away, but she led our whole community in such a collaborative, loving way. And for anybody who knew her, you knew two things about her. She was enormously focused on making sure that she lifted all people up, and very disciplined about not getting caught up in politics. And her job and the way she saw it was just to bring everybody along until she could get everybody moving in the same direction. But for anybody who thought she was soft, if you ever had a one-on-one meeting and weren't moving in the direction she thought you should, I assure you she was not soft. Susie Wilson. Suzanne Wilson passed away not too long ago. She was both a member of the city council and a member of the board of supervisors. And why I raise her up is that the YWCA, as you see downtown, has a whole building named after her because she raised money to build one of the first shelters to protect victims of domestic violence. I really could go on and on about the women who led us, Shirley Lewis, to think about the environment at a local level. But it is to make this point, and I say this to any woman who's listening, most women won't run for office unless they're asked 7 times. So if you're watching this, I'm asking you to think about running. At a local level, the way we've made change, I see you. I see you over there. I'm asking you too. I know, not you, her. Yes, absolutely. But the reason I'm making this point is that so much change has happened at a local level because women really have bound together and thought differently about public policy. The city of San Jose, in partnership with the county of Santa Clara, has increased the amount of money we're spending on childcare. It's not only a family issue, it's a huge economic development issue. Working with these women here, we were able to change rules that make it easier for us to pursue perpetrators of domestic violence, perpetrators of sexual assault, and making sure we have the services to respond. And the same with human trafficking. That happened because the city and the county were able to work together. So here's the big reveal. On April 29th, we're hosting a women's summit at West Valley College. It will start at 9 and go till 3 o'clock. There are going to be panels on everything under the sun, including how women can get into non-traditional fields of work, construction, firefighting, and the like. And someday, the reason this is so important is that we will have a women's summit that won't have any exceptions to what's traditional and non-traditional. It'll be such a thing of the past. And part of the reason for that is that the women who are coming, we invite all of you, but we're also honoring women who are emerging in their fields. So we're not waiting for people to already have conquered to be able to honor them. So thank you very much for letting me join you to celebrate International Women's Day and Women's History Month, and to say to all of you, I look forward to changing the world with each and every one of you, and I hope you do think about running for office.
Thanks for joining us, Supervisor, for your leadership. Thank you for joining us, Supervisor Chavez, and for your leadership and history of public service in our city and county. Councilor Ortiz, if you would join me at the podium, we will recognize and proclaim March 12th as Mexica New Year.
If I could please ask for the representatives of Calpulli Tonaleque to join me here on the floor. Thank you. The sunrise of Sunday, March 12th, marks the Mexican New Year. On this day, we honor the rich history of the Aztec and Nahua people who celebrated this holiday since pre-Columbian times. Traditionally, Mexican New Year is celebrated with the lighting of ocote and candles, signing, and sunrise ceremonies animated with rhythmic dancing and drumming. You'll see dancers coated in detailed regalia made up of colorful feathers and fine cloths. And today, San Jose is blessed to serve as the host of this sacred ceremony. The festival and the fact that Calpulli Tonaleke group time and time again choose San Jose as a host site should serve to remind us that we are special. We should strive to be the most accommodating and offer our administration to support them. Locally, San Jose is home to an indigenous population of 5,726 individuals, less than 1% of our total population. And according to the 2020 census data, nationwide, that number stands at 3.7 million, about 1.1% of the total population of this country. Having taken that into context, I sincerely thank Calpulli Tonaleke for sharing with us their traditions and for working night and day to produce the Mexican New Year event. Keep in mind, please, that they are purely volunteer-based, and for this reason, I need us all to recognize how much of a true gift it is that this culture is kept alive here in the city of San Jose. I share a deep appreciation to the many sponsors that have embraced our indigenous people and given platform so that these traditions take center stage. I'm excited to invite you to celebrate the 25th annual Mexican New Year at Emma Prush Park this weekend, starting Friday and ending on Sunday. Join in on an incredible show of pan-indigenous solidarity and celebration. If you find value in this, please consider donating and reaching into your networks to build upon their event for next year. I would like to now pass it to Mitlalpili of the Calpulli.
On behalf of Calpulli Tonaleke, Tlazokamati, thank you all for your support of our 25th annual Mexican New Year in San Jose. We are a volunteer community organization, as Peter mentioned, who work in the spirit of tequio, in our language, which means communal work for the benefit of everybody. It means a lot to receive this recognition, and I would like to also recognize Councilmember Peter Ortiz for championing this effort. Also, thank you to Omar Torres, Councilmember Jimenez for their contributions to our gathering this weekend. We will be bringing together many Native communities from up and down this continent, including relatives from Mexico, Canada, Washington, South Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, Idaho, Philadelphia, Texas, Los Angeles, and South America. We will be honoring our local Muwekma Ohlone tribe of San Francisco Bay Area as they will start our gathering with a traditional welcome and land acknowledgement, followed by Native traditional dancers from the Miwok, Pomo, and other Northern California tribes. Saturday, we will have Totonaca dancers from Veracruz, one of our San Jose sister cities, Macaw dancers from Washington, the state of Washington, and finally, the largest gathering of Aztec dancers in the nation, right here in our very own San Jose. Sunday, we will continue with more tribes, including the White Mountain Apache dancers from New Mexico and Arizona, Mixteco dancers from Oaxaca, Chinelos from Morelos, and intertribal local powwow dancers. Over 10,000 plus visitors from throughout California and neighboring states will be in attendance, bringing the Native economic strength to our city, renting hotels, eating at restaurants, shopping, and stimulating our local economy. Finally, with the support of our presenting sponsor, the Indian Health Center of Santa Clara County, and our other sponsors, We invite you all to attend with your families to enjoy our culture and help us celebrate our new year and our resilience as indigenous people of this continent. Happy New Year, everybody. Omateo.
Now I'd like to ask the mayor to please present the commendation, and if any of my colleagues would like to join, they're sure as welcome to do so.
All right. Happy Mexica New Year. Thank you all for being here. And last but not least, it is my honor to proclaim National 311 Day. I want to thank Deputy City Manager Rob Lloyd, Director of IT Khalid Tafir, Khalid's team, including Armand Cedano, the 311 call center team, including Kia O'Hara, and Nick Pais. Is it Pais? Pais. All right, Pais, Tammy Nguyen, and Danica Jenkins, who all do incredible work supporting our 311 service. 311, as you may know, is a tool that residents use to report a variety of issues around our city, from illegal dumping and potholes to streetlight outages and graffiti, and really empowers our community to report issues directly to the city and get a much needed service. Currently, we have about 40,000 residents using 311, and my hope is that working together, we can get that number closer to 400,000 residents. My team, and I know my council colleagues and their offices, are always out promoting our 311 services, directing people to the app and the number. And we want to make sure that we make this app as accessible as possible. Last year, we did a lot of work to expand language accessibility, which is really critical for ensuring that everyone in our city has access to the ability to request basic services in their neighborhoods. In addition to educating and encouraging residents to use 311, National 311 Day recognizes the truly Herculean task that has been taken on by our 311 staff, including our call center, which responds collectively through the app and the call center. That team responds to over 20,000 requests per month from our residents. So I want to just recognize and thank you all for the work that you do to serve our residents and provide that non-emergency but still critical response and access to basic city services to make our neighborhoods safer and more beautiful and welcoming places. So if you all would come up, I want to turn it over to Khalid to say a few words, and then I'll present the commendation. You're going to need this a little bit higher, I think. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. We are proud to provide 311 services to residents of San Jose who submitted over 350,000 requests last year. The 311 system currently has over 60,000 active users and growing. We encourage all of you to visit the San Jose 311 website and choose and select one of the many services available to request city services. The website and the 311 system support many languages: English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. I would like to recognize the commitment of many internal city staff and teams that respond to 311 services to ensure the city is safe and clean. I would like to recognize and thank the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services, the Department of Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement, the Department of Transportation, Environmental Services Department, the San Jose Fire and Police Department, and the Information Technology Department. Again, thank you for recognizing the 311 National Day.
Okay, orders of the day. Does anyone on the council have any changes to the printed agenda? Okay, seeing none, I think we are able to move on to the closed session report. We'll start with the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I do not have anything to report out of closed session today, but the city manager does.
Thank you very much, Nora. I do indeed have something to report out. I'm very pleased to announce the City Council's unanimous confirmation of Rick Bruno as the new director of our finance department. Rick will assume the position on April 2nd, 2023. So let's give him a big round of applause. As the city's finance director, Rick will be responsible for managing, protecting, and reporting on the city's financial resources to enhance its financial condition for residents, businesses, and investors. The finance department also works in partnership with city departments in the strategic support city service area to effectively develop, manage, and safeguard the city's physical, fiscal, technological, and human resources to enable and enhance the delivery of city services and projects. Rick has 15 years of experience in the finance industry. In 2018, he joined the City of San Jose's Finance Department, and currently he is the Finance Department's controller as the Deputy Director overseeing the accounting division, including a citywide fiscal recovery and grants management unit. Rick has a reputation for driving strategic and operational excellence and delivering digital transformation initiatives. Rick holds a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Massachusetts Amherst and a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from Eastern Connecticut State University. He is also a certified public accountant. Before I ask Rick to come up, I want to thank Julia Cooper for more than 35 years of dedicated service to our city. Her leadership and dedication to the department and our community have been very, very valued. She is one of the primary reasons we have consistently been named one of the best financially managed large cities in the nation, whose bonds are regularly rated at the highest levels, and she's been instrumental to our receiving the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association for 34 consecutive years in 2022. I also want to acknowledge all the employees in the Finance Department for their hard work and commitment to our financial standing. Please stand up if you're in the audience. I think we got a whole bunch of them up there. Wonderful. Thank you for all you do for the city. Rick is joined by his family, his wife, Andrea, his children, Aria and Dominic. His parents, Tina and Robert, are watching online, as are his mother and father-in-law, Roz and Rico. Join me, please, again, in congratulating Rick. And Rick, why don't you make your way up to the microphone? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for confirming my appointment as the next Director of Finance for the City of San Jose. I look forward to partnering with each of you in the years to come to advance the lives of the San Jose communities. To the City Manager and Assistant City Manager, Jennifer and Lee, thank you for entrusting trusting me to lead the finance department. This is such an honor and a privilege to serve in this new capacity. I also wanted to acknowledge and thank your support staff, your leadership team, for helping me through this process and coaching me along the way. They've been instrumental. For my family that's joined me here today, my wife Andrea, my children Aria and Dominic, and my parents Bob and Tina that are joining us virtually from Connecticut, I'll start with thanking my parents. My parents instilled great values in me. My father taught me to follow my passion and to work hard to achieve my goals. He followed his passion and love for automotive racing and started a small business to build and repair performance engines when he was just 21 years old. 50 years later, he's still doing that. My mom taught me about commitment and community service. She volunteered for a nonprofit Connecticut Junior Women's Club for 35 years, serving 10 years on the state board, which was capped by a 2-year term as the state's director. It is thanks to them that I've grown to value hard work, commitment, and community service. Now to my family that has joined me here today. Andrea, you are my best friend and soulmate. You are the beaming light of positivity in my life, and I'm so lucky to share this world with you. I love how you have guided me personally, my personal growth as a husband, a father, a son, a brother, and a friend. You have also created the capacity for me to follow my dreams professionally. Thank you for always supporting and pushing me to grow. And to my children, Aria and Dominic, thank you for being here today. I know you love being at school with your friends, but it means so much to me that we're here to experience this moment with me. I'll share publicly, which I've told you privately, and that is you can accomplish anything you want in life, so long as you commit yourself and work hard. I'm excited to see how you will change the world. And to my in-laws, Rico and Roz, that are watching online, thanks for being such a support for Andrea and I. You've done an amazing job instilling important values in your children, and I cherish our relationship, and I'm so grateful for you. And for our department, thank you all for coming out. It's really amazing. I first need to thank and acknowledge Julia Cooper, as Jennifer did, for her service to the organization over the past 35 years, for mentoring and coaching me over the past 5 years. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your support with me. And certainly, last but not least, thank you to the talented and dedicated employees in the finance department. I would not be here today if it were not for you. Thank you for your service to the organization and to the community. And a special thanks to those who encouraged me to apply for this role. Looking forward, we'll continue our focus on providing excellent strategic support to the organization and delivering on several city enterprise initiatives. I'm honored to lead you in these efforts. And that concludes my remarks. Thanks again to the Mayor and City Council.
Congratulations once again, Rick, and we appreciate everything you've already done in the department and everything we look forward to you doing in the years ahead. And congrats as well, and thank you to Julia as the city manager, and Rick said she leaves quite a legacy, some big shoes to fill, and we know that, Rick, you and the team are going to build on all of that prior success and only make our department and city stronger. So thank you all for being here from the finance department. We appreciate the work you do every day to support our residents and keep our city financially strong. Thank you. We're going to move on to, does that conclude the closed session report? Assume it does?
It does, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, great. Then we will move on to consent. Are there any items that the council would like to pull from the consent calendar? Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Second.
Great. Do we have public comment?
There are no hands?
Okay, let's vote. That passes. Thank you to Councilmember Jimenez for being back. We will move on to item 3.1, report of the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report today.
Told you we missed you. Item 3.3, we're on to actions related to mayor and council members' travel to Phoenix, Arizona for the San Jose Chamber of Commerce annual study mission. And Nora, as I understand it, I was just reviewing my notes, we actually have currently 6 people signed up. Is that right? And I think that may be a problem.
My understanding is that there may be 6. Someone may have dropped out, but if there are 6, that is a problem.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize, we've had a lot of things going on today. Do we need to confirm who is going before we take this action?
Well, yeah, I requested to speak. I was just going to say that we should amend the approval of this because I'm not going to be going after all. So hopefully that addresses
Got it.
what the concern was.
Okay, great. So can we entertain a motion that
Move
makes
approval.
clear, move
Removing
approval,
me from
removing,
going to, yeah.
exactly. Okay,
Second.
great. Any other comments? Councilor Foley, go ahead.
Just, it might be helpful to understand the limitations on the number of people who could go.
Sure, thank you, Councilmember Foley. The basic problem is we can't have a quorum of the council there. So we have to be under 6 but by law and also so that other city business can occur. Thanks.
Okay. Councilor Duan?
I just want to say thank you, Councilmember Jimenez, for making the process a little bit easier.
I did it for you all. I didn't want to muck up the process, so you can take me to lunch or buy me a drink anytime.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Jimenez. Appreciate that. Okay, I don't see any other hands, so I think, oh, I'm sorry, public comment?
There are no hands.
Okay, then let's vote. Okay, that passes. Thank you. And we are now on to item 3.4, City Initiatives, Roadmap, Customer Service, Vision, and Standards Initiative Report.
Yes, and I'm going to kick it off.
Great.
While everybody's getting settled, I just want to do a little framing here. When I became city manager, I outlined a set of 5 city manager key focus areas for important work that I felt positioned to understand and move solutions forward. One of these key focus areas is the initiative we're here to share today, the Customer Service Vision and Standards. Quality and excellent customer service was also integrated into the city manager's one team leadership values and expectations, and that initiative was also adopted by council as part of the 22-23 City Initiatives Roadmap. This topic is very important to me, and I will also say that it's come up time and time again in my one-on-ones with council members, so I know it's important to our city council as well. To me, customer service is about how we support our community in accessing and navigating city services. This includes setting and meeting expectations, being responsive and focusing on solutions, exhibiting empathy, and building a culture of creative problem solving. It also includes how we support each other and our internal communications and service. I know from my experience that customer service is a powerful tool for access and inclusion, and that customer service leads to better outcomes, and that good customer service empowers the community. We have so many bright spots in the city for excellent customer service, and yet we know that our services can be complex, frustrating, and at times feel insurmountable. I realize that we haven't focused on this area in quite some time. The work of this initiative is an opportunity for us to create a citywide vision and set of standards to improve every aspect of how we support the community in navigating the services they rely on. Much of this involves better supporting our employees with the tools and resources they need to be effective. I am thrilled that we were able to engage every single department to give input into this work, and that we were able to do this on a citywide scale, which our partner, Guidehouse, who's with us today, acknowledged that we are the first city to do. Beyond some of the quick wins you'll hear about today, future resourcing to implement the recommendations and transformational change will be included as part of the upcoming city manager's proposed budget process for council consideration. I will turn it over to the team and our partners at Guidehouse. We've got Dolan, Eric, Kia, Colin, Kristen, and Ilani to share more about this initiative with a recommendation to council to accept this report and approve the customer service vision, standards, recommendations, and performance management framework. Over to you, team.
Thanks, Jennifer. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, members of the public. My name is Eric Chiarella Jensen, Assistant to the City Manager. I'll do quick introductions for the box of folks that you have with you today for this topic. So Dolan Beckel, Chief of Staff for the City Manager, Kia O'Hara, Program Manager, San Jose 311 Customer Contact Center, and our partners at Guidehouse, Colin Lopez, Partner, Kristen Jensen, Managing Consultant, and Eleni Owen, Senior Consultant. Today, we're going to walk you through the agenda that you have in front of you, which will include initiative background, the approach that we took to this work. We'll share our discovery, which is really our approach to community and employee engagement and outreach. We'll share our customer service vision and standards, along with recommendations, performance management plan, and a multi-year transformation to get us there. We'll also share the work that we're doing now in terms of quick wins that we've implemented to make changes, improvements to the customer experience, and then we'll conclude with some next steps. So I will turn it over to Colin.
Thank you, Eric. All right. At the onset, I do want to thank everybody for the opportunity to speak with you today. I want to highlight that our partnership with the city has been exceptional. San Jose stands out as the only city we are aware of that has adopted a comprehensive, top-down approach to customer service at such a citywide level. This approach, which prioritizes customers' experience above isolated departmental or technology concern, is a significant departure from the traditional methods. It reflects a genuine commitment to customer centricity and is a key driver of our success. This is a magic moment for San Jose. In addition to this approach, you have got a great team in place with the right ingredients to see it through and see it done right. With strong executive sponsorship and commitment from the city manager, to leadership with deep consulting and business experience from Dolan, to the usability expertise and commitment to making direct impact by implementing quick wins from the start of this project with Eric and Kia, the city has the right team leading the way for this important innovative transformation. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the frontline city staff who have embraced this initiative, have welcomed the analysis and feedback, and who want to deliver the best customer service to residents. It has been a very positive experience being able to engage with the team and include their unique perspectives in this engagement. Thank you. With that, we'll jump into our report.
Okay. The city manager's office took the initiative to approach this work in the right way. Guidehouse was engaged to support the city in understanding and assessing customer service across the city and assist in developing a comprehensive customer service vision, set of standards, and actionable recommendations for improvement. To do this, we engaged both internally with the city as well as externally with its customers, which I will go into greater detail on the next slide. Our work was completed over 4 main project tasks. In Task 1, Discovery, we conducted thorough community outreach and employee engagement to get an accurate and holistic view of the current state of the city's customer service. In Task 2, Mapping the Current State, we used the data and insights collected in Task 1 to create representative customer personas and journey maps to visualize the bright spots and pain points across customer interactions with the city. In Task 3, Vision and Standards, we led collaborative visioning sessions with city staff and developed customer service standards to operationalize and drive the vision. Finally, in Task 4, Future State Mapping and Transformation, we mapped the future state of the city's customer service, conducted a gap analysis, developed citywide recommendations and quick wins, and mapped the recommendations to a transformation plan and cost estimate, while creating a performance management framework to measure success. First, an overview of our Task 1 discovery work. Next slide. We put a lot of emphasis on this task because we knew it was important to get this foundation right. We engaged over 400 internal and external stakeholders through 5 primary engagement methods. First, we had over 100 touch points with council members and city staff across levels. We engaged with members of city leadership across departments, city council, and senior and frontline staff. Because our work is centered on the customer, our next 4 engagement methods were designed to capture customer experience. First, we used a methodology called mystery shopping, where our team put ourselves in the shoes of the customer to try to access services for ourselves. We analyzed 7 different scenarios in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Scenarios included applying for housing, reporting graffiti, and adopting a pet. We tested multiple customer channels, including SJ311 live chat, phone, email, and web. Next, we analyzed 95 randomized calls and front desk observations to understand caller frustrations and emotions. Observations took place across locations, including several departments in City Hall, animal care services intake, and police dispatch. Next, we conducted 37 in-depth one-on-one interviews with customers that were referred from the city to share their experience. We also presented at 2 neighborhood association meetings. Finally, we captured the perspective of 170 customers across the city through intercept interviews, which are quick interviews with customers at point of service, such as at child care drop-off or checking out a library book. We did this in language through the use of interpreters in Spanish, Vietnamese, as well as English. We made an effort to meet customers where they were at and had conversations across City Hall, in community centers, at the MLK Library, on campus at SJSU, the Berryessa Flea Market, and in the aisles of supermarkets. From our discovery research, we found opportunities across people, process, and technology for the city to improve customer service. For people, there were many bright spots to celebrate, especially in customers' interactions with staff. Even so, it was difficult for staff to leverage collaboration across departments, whether it was knowing who to contact or who to refer next steps to. In addition, many customers felt service was inconsistent depending on who they reached out to, and some would try several channels or calling several times to get the result with the person they wanted. For process, we found that policies and processes across departments could be inconsistent and complex, resulting in a fragmented, lengthy, and ineffective customer experience. Furthermore, customers without deep familiarity of city services often struggle to navigate on their own towards resolution, placing them at a disadvantage from the start. For technology, we found the city does not currently have the technology to create a 360-degree view of the customer to retrieve, process, track, coordinate, and ensure follow-through on customer service inquiries. The lack of centralized data collection and metrics leads to a fragmented and often incomplete understanding of customers. Next, we mapped our findings across 5 key phases of the typical end-to-end customer service journey, from a customer's awareness of services and how to connect with the city, to seeking information from the city, to engaging with the city, to receiving service, to reaching a resolution. We identified many customer bright spots across every phase of the customer journey. By far, the strongest and most identified bright spot we encountered were customer interactions with city staff. In the engagement phase, for example, we observed several occasions where a customer with non-English language preference was able to reach a bilingual representative who could easily switch to their preferred language. When speaking about San Jose staff, one customer observed, quote, "The people are helpful, unlike other places I've lived where sometimes the attitude is, 'What do you want?' There is more of a sense of, 'How can I help you?' from San Jose." Finally, many customers were appreciative of the programming and services provided by the city and praised the quality of these programs, particularly at the library and at community centers. We also identified many customer pain points across the customer journey, from a lack of awareness of city services and who to contact, to challenges in getting support in their preferred language, to disconnected and lengthy service. Customers face challenges and barriers at key moments in their service experience. One customer at City Hall expressed their frustration at their lengthy wait for service. Quote, "Having to wait to be seen is horrible. I understand having to wait a few days or a week, but months, the impact is losing jobs and not being able to get stuff done." In the next phase of our work, we took our discovery from the bright spots to the pain points to everything in between and worked with the city to create a forward-looking customer service vision and set of standards. These were developed with intention by city leadership and in collaboration with frontline staff who know the customer best. Each of these standards are by definition human-centered and are designed with the customer experience at their core. The city's customer service vision is working together to serve our community through reliable, empathetic, and solutions-oriented customer service. This is supported by 7 standards to guide the city to deliver customer service and achieve the vision. Number 1, deliver customer service with a focus on solutions. 2, support a consistent and accessible experience for all customers. 3, work as one team to facilitate a seamless customer experience. 4, enable customers to easily navigate the city on their first try. 5, set expectations for next steps at point of contact and communicate along the journey. 6, treat every customer like their problem matters and we are on the same team to solve it. 7, continually improve our customer service through our people, processes, and technologies. We've included more detailed definitions of each standard on this slide, which I won't read through today. Our final phase included laying a path for how the city can achieve and measure its new customer service vision and standards in the short term and long term. We developed 11 recommendations across 5 themes under our people, process, and technology structure. For people, we have 3 recommendations that support culture and training and customer service governance centralization. For process, we have 5 recommendations that support equitable access and improving policies and processes. And for technology, we have 3 recommendations that support improving and strengthening customer service channels, software, and data. Each of these recommendations feed into the realization of these standards and the achievement of the customer service vision. This lays out our 11 detailed recommendations. In the right column, we've outlined concrete steps that the city can use to take action towards implementation. These provide a North Star for the right way to go about transformation. Excuse me. Some examples include Recommendation 1.1, define and celebrate customer service excellence, and Recommendation 1.2, develop tools and training for improving internal and external connectivity, and invest in customer service-related professional development opportunities. Further down, Recommendation 3.1, ensure customers can access a full journey in language. Recommendation 4.1, establish clear policies on communication and expectation setting throughout the customer journey. And under our technology recommendation theme, Recommendation 5.2 is to implement a customer relationship management solution to centralize data collection, tracking, and sharing, creating a 360-degree view and understanding of the customer. We know these recommendations don't happen overnight or without a great deal of planning and intention. Our final deliverable was to develop a 3-year transformation and evaluation plan, setting a roadmap for implementation and measuring performance over time. To support this framework, we have developed citywide performance metrics at the CSA and department level to measure the success of the recommendations in support of the vision and standards. The city knows how critical it is to embed these metrics at the start, both to define the value the city wants to deliver and to ensure that the impact of this effort is reaching the intended recipient, the customer. In our performance management framework, we have one overall performance measure that will measure the city's vision. We have also developed one short-term and one long-term measure that maps to each of the 7 standards. Short-term metrics are either currently being measured by the city or could be measured by the city within the city's current organizational structure and capabilities. Long-term metrics can be future additions to short-term metrics once the longer-term recommendations have been implemented, particularly the CRM. I will now hand it over to Kia to discuss some of the city's initial quick wins that have come out of this work so far.
Great, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Kia O'Hara. I'm the program manager for the SJ311 Customer Contact Center. My team is the first and many times only people or person that a resident might speak to from the city. We answer the main city phone number as well as the 311 phone number. We provide in-person assistance at the City Hall first floor information desk, and we are also the team that responds to the city customer service emails and 311 other issue requests. Today, I am here to discuss some of the quick wins listed here. These quick wins represent items we identified as an issue during the mystery shopping, in-person interactions, and while going through our websites. We are calling these quick wins because many of them were resolved quickly. Some of them are still in process, but many were accomplished without additional staff or funds. So I'm going to call out a couple that I feel really celebrate the efforts thus far, but just know that this slide is not complete. We hope to add on to this with many more quick wins in the coming months and years as we engage with additional departments and residents. On the slide to the left, you will see that we categorize these wins under people, process, and technology based on our discovery themes that were highlighted earlier. We have also listed the service area, the customer issue, the summary of the quick win, and the status along the top row. So now I'm just going to read a couple of these. The first one I'm going to read is actually on the second line item in people. The service area was communications, and the issue was that based on our city tools, some employees were unaware of citywide access to translation services. The quick win summary was that communications distributed a citywide email to staff to educate them on these services and connect to support resources. In addition to this, what's not listed is that they also, within that email, offered training to the staff so that they can have detailed training on how to contact our assistants and use the numbers. So it was more than just this. A lot of people did get detailed training. The next one I'm going to read is under process. It's the top line item for SJ311, which is my team. Its language access was the issue. And it's just such a small item, but I want to read it because it's a really important change. The hold message of the SJ311 phone tree was not translated to Spanish when you chose Spanish. And so it was something we listened to over and over, but if Spanish is not your first language, sometimes you don't even recognize that that's happening. So everything else was in Spanish, except for it saying, please hold for the next representative. So that was definitely a quick win. As soon as I found out, we changed it right away. The quick win summary says Spanish SJ311 hold messages were added to the phone tree. Very easy, but until you know, you don't know. And for the final one under technology, which is the third line item, it's also my team, SJ311. The issue was departmental transfers. Customers that contact SJ311 often need to be transferred to a city department to resolve a request. And the quick win summary, this one is still in progress because it is a change for my team, and some of us have been with the team for 15 years plus. So it is a work in progress, but here is the quick win summary that we are working on. We are working towards a warm handoff model where a customer needing departmental transfer, and actually we like to call it a connection, they can move forward with the context of their request to minimize frustration and repetition. And what this means is when you call my team, you explain your issue to us once, and if we know that we can connect you with the next department, we'll try to pass along as much information so you don't have to repeat yourself several times. Hopefully this has given you some examples of our small efforts that can make a big impact to our customer service offerings. As we identify more, we will attempt to resolve the issues and make progress along the way. Now I'm going to pass it to Dolan, who's going to discuss some next steps.
Thanks, Kia. Dolan Beckel, Chief of Staff for the City Manager, but more importantly, I'm the executive sponsor for this customer service initiative. First of all, in wrapping up, I just wanted to thank Kia and her team for that growth mindset. It's not always fun to have someone walk down and say, the phone tree requires someone to understand a different language when they're put on hold, let's fix it, or this particular voicemail box is full and every phone tree ends in that voicemail box. So really appreciate Kia for taking the growth mindset and making those quick wins as we look forward to this transformation. I also want to thank the collective team here in the box, the residents and the businesses, council members and their offices in San Jose who all jointly shared their experiences and helped co-create this vision and the set of 7 standards to deliver excellent customer service. As our city manager, Jennifer McGuire, indicated in the beginning, resourcing considerations will be included in the city manager's proposed budget process because the rest of this work currently is not funded other than working with the existing staff to continue some of those incremental quick wins. So we look forward to any questions, and that concludes our report.
Great, thank you so much. Let's go to public comment first.
I have no hands up. Oh, one hand just went up, Jill Borders.
Hi, sorry, I was a little slow there. On customer service, I just want to give a shout out because I think it's really important that we mention the people that are so helpful. So I just want to let you know that last week when I gave public comment and we were discussing the mobile home issue, I contacted Jared Ferguson, and this is the 3rd time that Jared Ferguson has picked up the phone. He just answers the phone. And as far as customer service goes, he's just been fabulous and will talk to me at length about any of the issues that I have or concerns, and is always so patient and interested in finding out any answers that I'm curious about. So it goes a long, long way when people at the city, when you call them, and I never expect the phone to be picked up because people are so busy, and that's really not, picking up the phone's not something we always do. But he does all of the time. With me, it's the 3rd time over, probably a period of about 6 months. It's just that kindness and that courtesy is so appreciated. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out and say thank you. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Does that conclude public comment?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Just, as we come back to the council, I really want to thank our city manager, Jennifer McGuire, the senior team, Dolan for being the sponsor, and everybody who worked on this report. I think Jennifer's emphasis from day one in this role on providing excellent customer service is so important to building trust with our residents and having their buy-in as we try to tackle really challenging problems. And as we all know, there are thousands of little touch points spread across the city. I think Kia said, her folks who are answering those phones may be the only person at City Hall somebody talks to. And so every little micro interaction that we have with our 1 million+ residents can build trust and buy-in and make people feel more connected to their government, or can do the opposite, can erode trust and increase frustration. And so I think this work is really critical. I appreciate that we're investing in it. I think we all understand we're not going to transform it overnight, but I think we now have a really strong framework for thinking about what levers we can pull and how we can steadily make progress in improving that experience for residents. So I'm very excited about the work and appreciate all the good thinking in this report. So I'll turn it over to my colleagues here for their comments and questions, and we'll start with Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor, and I also want to echo my thanks to City Manager and our senior team, including Dolan, for your great work on these recommendations and the work that you're going to be implementing as they're aimed at improving the quality of services to our community, which at the end of the day is our constituents. So thank you so much for your dedication to this project. I deeply value staff's effort in looking more in depth into how language access affects how residents can connect to city services. And I know specifically in my district and others, that could be, whether it'll tell whether a resident can access services or not, is whether they have language availability. And because of this barrier, especially in diverse communities, many people may be hesitant or reluctant to utilize 311 to report activities like illegal dumping, abandoned vehicles, or homelessness, or other issues that they would use the app for, if they even know how to use the app in the first place, to be brutally honest. So I do have a few questions in this same avenue. What efforts are being taken to improve outreach and customer service to help these communities overcome this hurdle and feel comfortable with calling 311, accessing the services, and trusting someone from the city who knows the language can help them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll intercept that first, and I'll see if rest of staff want to enter in. So I think one of the most important things we've identified in some of the early recommendations is actually improving accessibility. And so we do, our communications director and all the PIOs work to communicate out through flyers, through in-person, through emails about in multiple languages about how they can access city services. But we actually learned there's a lot more we can do. So that's a work in progress. And I don't know if Carolina Camarena, who's the director of our communications, is going to come down and provide more on what she's currently doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Mayor. So we do have an outreach plan for 311 that actually includes the 311 staff going to neighborhood associations and walking through exactly what you've asked for, and we will make sure that there's language resources available.
Wonderful, thank you. Have we thought about maybe using social media, YouTube, or other avenues in order to advertise these services?
Yes, and that outreach plan includes a lot of social media ads in the respective languages targeted to individuals who speak that specific language. So we'll have Spanish ads on Facebook that will be directed to folks who are posting in Spanish.
Thank you for the Spanish. How about Vietnamese?
Same thing with Vietnamese and same thing with Chinese. So we do the 3 languages, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese.
Wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That kind of closes my language access questions, but I really appreciate those answers. My next question is one that came up during the mayoral transition committee, which was kind of follow-ups when tickets in 311 were closed. Currently, if a resident puts in a report, the follow-up would be they would receive a notification regarding if their report has been closed. And some feedback we heard was that people would get a message that an item would close, but they'd still go outside and they'd see the vacant car, or they'd see, the blight or something like that. And I know, that could be frustrating for some staff, and that could result in some negative feedback. What would it take to move more towards a personalized response, more than just your tickets closed, but like explaining what was done by the city, so that even if it's like, this is a lived-in vehicle, so we don't tow lived-in vehicles, just explaining that to them, or how could we move in that direction?
The current plan is to move in that direction. There's been discussions already about what we're going to be doing in the coming fiscal year. And some of that is actually giving kind of an evidence-based proof that the loop is closed. And so I don't know if Kia, I know there's some enhancements that have been made recently since we delivered council member training on 311 prior to some of the new council members joining. So I think one of the things Kia and I talked about is the new council members are going to get training on how they can use 311 and what tools and features are available, and seeing what communications have gone out to the customers. And then there is more focus on closing that loop with the existing application. Kia, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
I did reach out to your teams yesterday, so please make sure that they contact me back so that we can schedule those appointments so that you can get the training for your staff. And you'll be able to see some of the messaging that does go out. And we do have efforts going forward where it will be a little bit more personalized.
No, I appreciate that. And I know I have individuals emailing me constantly about abandoned vehicles, code violations, things like that. I'm sure my colleagues do as well. And, they tell me things like, oh, the ticket's closed, but this still exists. So I think having that communication line, because then we'd have to reach out to you and then figure out what's going on. And it puts us like in a ping pong table between city staff and the constituents. So making sure we could fill that circle of feedback, that'd be great. But no, I appreciate it. Those are kind of my 2 main areas: language access for our diverse communities, as well as keeping our residents looped in. And that being said, I just want to thank Eric, Dolan, and Carolina for stopping by my office. I know we had a recent conversation where I mentioned I was going to be asking these questions anyway, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Jimenez?
Yeah, thank you. I think you're going to hear a lot of thank yous as we go through some of the comments, but thank you for all the work. Very much appreciated. It seems to me this is one of those issues that are really the bread and butter of what the city does, right? The communication, the contact with the residents that we each serve and that you serve. And so I think it's timely. I think it's important. And I think I couldn't help but think about, I think Councilmember Torres mentioned something that emerged for him as it relates to questions I asked from some of the transition committees. And I think it reminded me of that as well. Some of the things we heard, I was on the permitting planning transition committee, and some of the customer service-esque type of stuff that came up resonated with me as things we were hearing internally during those transition committees. So I'm glad you're starting to touch it. I just wanted to ask a question, but first, simply point out that, if you look at the standards, and I think all of us up here would probably agree with the statement, is that the standards that are listed, the 7 standards on page 17 of the PowerPoint presentation, I think our staffs on the 18th floor that sort of interact day to day with our constituents, I think this is what we all strive for, right? We typically hire people with different languages, people that are focused on different topic areas. I have folks focused on land use issues, others focused on the environmental issues, others on public safety. And so I think that our teams are a good example of, on how we sort of approach this in a very solution-oriented way. And so I did see that there was, I think, an interview I was one of the council members that was interviewed. It was a while ago, but I also read that I think there were some council staff members interviewed as well. I know my team wasn't one of those, but can you share sort of any learnings that sort of came up or rose to the surface as it relates to some of those conversations on how the council staff manages some of that triage, if you will? Because I think it's a good sort of thing that we do up there, and to the extent it can trickle down and add to the already good work that a lot of the city employees are doing, I think it'd be helpful to understand.
Yeah, Councilmember, great point. That came through in a ton of different places of council offices. We know what's in your email inboxes. We know what comes across in your phone calls. You're very much part of the customer experience. And what we found is there's so many different ways for our customers to get into the city, whether it's coming in person in City Hall or to a community center, whether it's email, call, chat. There are a lot of different avenues, and often council offices are the area that people go to because that's maybe where they prefer, that's where they feel most trust, where they feel most confident they can get to resolution. I think some of the findings that came out of our work was just helping council offices and also staff navigate across departments. It's very challenging for staff to identify the correct point of contact to make that transfer or that warm handoff to. No different for council offices. You all have to do your own navigating for the city in a way that's unique to that experience. And so increasing that access, deepening our resources for just updating org charts and making sure that we can travel with the description. And then also, when those warm handoffs happen, helping that travel with the context of the customer's inquiry so that they don't have to repeat, which can be a frustrating experience, so that you can all have access into the city staff's role of what is the process or procedure that you need to communicate to the customer as well.
Yeah, I've had mostly the same staff for about 6 years, but so what I've learned is that they create their own sort of pathways to get certain questions answered. And so my hope is that through the whole infrastructure of the city, that whichever department it is, that those sort of those pathways are created as well, right? So they know who to reach out in DOT about this particular issue, right? And then that's shared with everyone else. And not to suggest that it would all go to one person, but I think creating those pathways is important.
Totally agree. And we found this all over the place of people know who will help them and who will help get things done. And that should be not just the case for those few individuals across departments. It should really be whoever the right owner is, not just those few.
Okay. And then the other question I had is, there's 2 questions. One is related to the 311 app. Admittedly, I was locked out of it for a little while. I just reset my password and jumped back in to check before I asked this question. And so I noticed in there that there is no button to say contact your council member or anything like that. Has that ever been considered? Because maybe I'd be open to that, and I think it'd be a good thing. But I know maybe not everyone is supportive of that. So have we ever considered that?
It's going to go straight to your personal cell phone as well.
That's okay with me. That's
I
my
think we
job.
have Khalid.
Thank you, Councilmember. This is Khalid Tawfiq, Chief Information Officer. It is one of the things we're looking at, how we can engage the public in a better way. Currently, we're redesigning 2 of the major services we provide 311, and this is the kind of feedback that we will take and see how we can increase the interaction with the public. So previously, the question about the reopening a ticket or allowing the public to rebuttal or submit additional information, that's definitely something we're looking at. An option to communicate directly with council through the app, that's also something we can look into.
Okay. And I know obviously if you go on the city website, you can see our picture and click on that and get an email. I understand that, but for folks that are using this, I think it's important to, I think, to have direct access maybe to the general email box for each council office on there. The other thing I was going to ask is it relates to that same topic. I know it may be controversial, everyone sort of, as it relates to that same topic, what I'm wondering is in this whole sort of infrastructure that you laid out in the report and the presentation, all these different layers, I think I'd be curious if you explored any ideas as to off-ramps, if you will, during the course of that long tree of connection in different departments. If there's an off-ramp that something can be offered to the respective, resident to say, would you like us to connect you with the council member's office? Or something like that. And not to get people in trouble, not to do anything like that, but I think the reality is we're all here to serve the residents in all parts of the city, but what I also know to be true is that each of us in the minds of the residents, we're responsible for some of that. And so as an example, I always tell my residents, go through the normal process. If you hit a wall, call me. And then that's my job to help facilitate that and grease the wheels, if you will, to get them the answer that they need. So not sure if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so what I would say is, that we're focusing on the phone app, but we have lots of other channels and lots of other call centers. So I think what we'll be doing if we get the go to get started is that a lot of year 1 is going to be around the people and the process. So the culture, the ownership within the services, and then redesigning those processes and what customer service looks like. So I think we happily, as we go through that, we'll be engaging council members who are an important part of customer service, and that's certainly something we can take into consideration in addition to a lot of other things. So I mean, I know you're all going to have great ideas that are flashing in front of your mind as you think about the hundreds of thousands of constituents you serve and the questions that they have, but that is much of what we're going to be doing in the first year is focusing on the people and the process, and then moving on to the technology infrastructure. Because if we start off with technology, we're just kind of automating the existing chaos, so it'll be faster chaos. So we want to make sure we take the time to work with you and the service departments as we redesign the processes and come up with those requirements.
Okay.
And another point on that, council member, is that as we go through this process of transformation, we're going to continually do feedback loops on our service. So we're going to mystery shop. We want to continually make sure that we're surveying people to make sure their customer service experience was good, because I feel the same way. I want them, because I get a lot of things my way as well, and I want them to feel like it can be escalated appropriately. But I want to also give staff the opportunity to resolve it on the first touch point. But so we will definitely think about how that interaction works, because I also want the opportunity in our service to the council to resolve things. And so, because I also, if they go to you, then you might kick it back to us. So I just want to see how we can look at that as we're going through the process.
True. Okay. Thank you. And very last question. I know I said the other one was my last question, but this truly is my last question. I know Smart Cities is no longer a standing committee, and so where would the reporting out on some of the progress on this be? Is it NSC? Is it? I mean, where would it be?
We will probably go through the Public Safety Finance
Okay, I was
Strategic
thinking
Support Committee,
strategic support, but I didn't want to.
and directly to the City Council like we're doing today, because I think it's important to every council member. So we may just also go here. It depends on the subject matter related to the update, and we'll probably give you information memo. So because we're going to be on this and keeping you up to date on our progress.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Batra?
Thank you very much for the excellent report and the approach you have taken to analyzing and enhancing the customer service. When I was here for my appointment interview, Council Member Sergio Jimenez has asked us, we are all here glorified customer service council members. And how do you intend to serve your customers? How do you intend to do that? So Jimenez, the answer is, this is how we intend to serve them. with recording all the performance and actually making the things work in the customer service portfolio. I do have some questions, Dolan, on the recommendations which have been made, clarifications, and then a couple of them may be an enhancement to what you have proposed. The first one is a simple question. Is there a way to report this thing anonymously, or people always have to fully identify themselves in reporting 311 issues?
Well, since Khaled is here, I'm not going to speak for him. I know that that's the account is something they're looking at, so I'll let him address where we stand specific to 311.
Thank you, Councilmember. Khaled Tawfiq, Chief Information Officer. Currently, some services are required for the public to register and to submit the name. I think code enforcement is one of them, and the other one for vehicle blight. Others don't. We do understand that sometimes there are some sensitivity related to retaliation when it comes to graffiti and other services. Part of what we're looking at currently is how to redesign it, where the public can get a code or something that they can follow up without requiring them to register or to provide information. But some of the services we're trying to be more flexible to increase the engagement, but others are kind of required, but we'll look into how we can accommodate both.
Okay, thank you. The second one is, we covered pretty extensively when there's a transfer between departments or to the warm transfers which you described. That's within the city area. There's also need to be looked at it, how we can do some kind of a warm transfer between the city reported item, but actually needs to be handled by the county. So I had talked to Rob Lloyd before about that one, the automated transfer. So I'd like that to be considered if there is a way to get that transfer between the city and the county in a more effective way, because currently it all goes through the second time. People have to repeat everything and all they get is phone number. Okay.
I should have stayed. Regarding the question, I do agree that ideally we should have an interface with them, because when you call 911, it doesn't matter whether it's a city or county, you get service regardless, whether you call from New York or Los Angeles or San Jose. So at a minimum, we need to find a way to collect the information and email to the county or the city. But ideally, we're looking to find a way if we can be in a similar system or a way that we can build an interface between us and the neighboring cities and county.
Okay, yes. Okay, the last item is, last but one, the item you said about the customer relationship management systems, the 5.2, the wording says procure customer relation systems, or procure. And right now we have more than one already in use. So I think what you probably mean there is consolidate to either one system or have these multiple systems effectively communicate with each other so that they appear to be as one system, okay? Rather than procure a new one.
Yeah, Council Member, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. That was the intent. And so we would take that as a friendly amendment. I talked to the consultants this morning because it's their recommendation. They agreed. That was the intent, was to consolidate to a single CRM platform that gives you a 360-degree view of the customer, including all those interactions. So you can see the status of the case and the case workers who are working on it and add notes and know that Councilmember Batra, who's asking in the middle of getting a permit for his ADU in his backyard is also Councilmember Batra, who reported an issue with a lost pet. So, so that, yes, we'll take that friendly amendment and make that change.
Okay, all right, it's the last question. Customer service is being delivered by the entire city, and you have talked about centralized governance. Could you explain a little bit meaning, what does that centralized governance mean and how it be accomplished?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the question. As you get into the details of the report, and if you want all 200 pages, we'll be happy to email them to you. We talk about centralizing governance with distributed operations. So what we really mean is in the beginning, right now, there is no single person or no single department who's accountable for customer service. And that's something we need to figure out in that first year as we're working through the people in the process work. We're going to begin kind of like incubating it in the city manager's office to get things going. Then we're going to figure out what the right answer is. Does there need to be an office? Does there need to be a department? Does there need to be a director? Is it embedded in an existing service department? That's really complicated because we have so many lines of business that become very specialized the further down you go into resolving a customer's problem. So by that we meant there's some degree of centralized governance we need, so there's accountability, but we also recognize the complexity of working with the complexity of our services, and so that's something we'll be figuring out exactly what the answer is. We know we have to figure it out. We don't have the right answer yet. We're going to start by incubating it with a small team in the city manager's office, and we'll figure the right answer out long term as we go through this first year.
Okay, so we'll get updates on that one and have an opportunity to give our feedback on that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's all my questions on it, and when appropriate, we'll make the friendly amendment for you. Okay.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Torres?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to our city staff, especially our 311 team, for pushing this forward. I just want to let everybody know what we're discussing and voting on today is all about equity. It is about connecting our most underserved neighborhoods to resources they do not know about, they don't know where to go, and other issues of concerns that they may have. And having worked for Council District 5 and 3, my team and myself are very familiar with navigating the city and its many departments, right? And so for our residents, it is complex. And with us tackling these gaps and moving forward with these recommendations is very, very important for our neighborhoods and our residents. So I do have a few questions though. So for example, because we get a lot of calls where we actually really do have to connect the dots as council staff, if a resident calls in, but we don't offer that service or we don't offer that program, but another government agency or nonprofit provider does, where does it go?
So, Councilmember, are you asking specific to the 311 call center or the many other call centers? Okay. Yeah, Kia, if you want to address that.
Thank you for the question. And so it depends on what they're looking for. We will try to research that and provide them with the direct number that they should call for that service. Does that answer the question?
Yes, kind of yes. Yeah, kind of, but not really, but so, okay. So, for example, a resident calls 311 seeking a shelter bed. Our 311 folks immediately know who to call, who to connect with, etc.
Yes, we would actually use housing, homeless concerns. We do have a direct number for them as well as an email address, and we can connect the caller to them, and then they can connect to supportive services.
Okay, and how about let's say they're seeking services at Sacred Heart Community Service Agency?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sacred Heart Community Service.
we do.
Let's just say they're seeking food.
Yep. So we work alongside Sacred Heart very often, and so we do know the direct number to provide to them to connect them. Right now, we are helping with municipal water services billing with Sacred Heart through our LIWAP program. So we do have those services and the telephone numbers that are needed.
Good. That was way better, by the way. Just letting you know. So thank you, because I know this is tough because these are the type of questions that our office gets. So it's very important to also work in coordination with our city council staff. And with that, that's my last question. I'm someone, and my team is someone, not to push the issue down to another department or you should just call this number. But is it safe to say, because you did a wonderful job, is it safe to say for some of our council offices that are not as busy as District 3, 5, and 7, because those are our busiest council districts, no offense, other council members, is it safe to say call our 311 if it's like an intern or a new policy aide, et cetera?
Yes, definitely. So that is part of the training that we're offering, and I did send the email out yesterday, so hopefully your staff will be responding.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, great. It's part of the training. So it doesn't have to be somebody new or somebody who's been here a long time. We're always open. We are available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. We also have after-hours service. If you do not know the answer, you can definitely send them to my team. We have a customer service email, which is customerservice@sanjoseca.gov, and that's for the public as well. Please reach out to us. We are available 311. Our main number is 408-535-3500. And I also would invite you to go to the SJ311 application or on the website, and there's a link that says FAQ. And that is also open to the public. If you click on that and just put in a single keyword, you'll be able to research anything and find the direct telephone number. So that will be helpful to your staff, as well as any of the public that's watching. If you're interested in just trying to find something out yourself, the FAQs are listed there with the contact information as well.
Great, thank you. Thank you for all your work, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I do want to elaborate on two things. One is, what you just talked about is exactly what's in the recommendation 1.2, is there's a lot of tools and a lot of ways to access that the community and even the council members don't know about. I mean, Council Member Candelas was asking about if you're going to have the ability to submit service requests. You can today with San Jose 311, and I think we haven't done the training, so a lot of you may not know that. So that's why we expedited making sure we got you all trained in how to use San Jose 311. And then the recommendation 1.2 is to expand our work in accessibility and training, and that is actually one of the staffing requests that I would be making to Jennifer as part of the city manager's proposed budget, is to have a person actually work closely with Carolina on further expanding our accessibility in multiple languages and getting better and better at reaching out to the community so they understand what tools they do have.
Great, thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Cohen?
Thank you. And as Councilmember Jimenez said before, we love focusing a lot of times on policy and other things, but the basic service that we provide as council offices, as a city, are the services that we're talking about today. So appreciate the focus on improving that customer experience, which will help our residents, but also help our offices as we do this collectively. I was intrigued by the question about the Councilmember Jimenez also about contacting council members. Presumably, the people have an account and they're using the app. They have their address in there. So actually, we should be able to have it automatically know who or the contact person they could reach out to as their own council member. They don't have to have a chart and figure out where they live, right? They should be able to say, email the office, contact the office, and it would know. So just a thought. I'm not sure if we're at that point, but I know you've been thinking about different access points. One of you made a comment about how people trust the council office, right? And they come to the council office sometimes rather than using the app. And I will mention that obviously a lot of the times the result is that the council office then uses the app on behalf of the resident. But ultimately we're the ones who are accountable, right? So it sort of makes sense. We want to make sure that those get resolved. And in some sense, I actually like it when we're using the app on behalf of the resident, because then we can track and see whether things get done. And from the resident's perspective, we are then their personal concierge in some sense, right? We're shepherding it through the process. We have that ability to go a little deeper and get a better feeling for that response. And so back to the question about whether residents will receive more thorough information about, I think Councilmember Ortiz asked this, how will they know exactly what the outcome was? We often, as a council office, don't want to go back to the resident with a response unless we know. So we often dive deeper than the app can dive. So we need to think about, again, that's an important piece. And I know as serving on the Smart Cities Committee in the past, we had this conversation a lot about what is the feedback that residents should get throughout this process, and how do we make that better. There was a kind of questions about, people aren't satisfied in some cases. I mean, there's some services in which people are very satisfied with the app results, right? Graffiti abatement, garbage pickup, dumping. I think in most cases we do a pretty good job of quickly responding and resolving those issues. There's some that sometimes are more complicated and do need that concierge service. And then there's some, like vehicle abatement, where by nature of how we respond, half the people are not going to be happy, because we don't go out and ticket and tow vehicles unless they meet a certain criteria. And so we have spoken in the past as well. I kind of meant to make it a question, but I don't know if I'm coming up with a question. But we have spoken before about the difference between the procedural and the policy, and how we probably have to have a conversation as a council about what is the policy that we want, so that residents know what it is that they can expect the city to do. Is our policy going to be going forward that we only abate vehicles in certain circumstances, and should our policy reflect that? Or should people be made clear that the language in the policy says we may abate vehicles, but we don't have to, and we're going to base it on certain criteria? But we don't do a good job of communicating with the public up front about what they should expect the outcome to be. And that, to me, is something, I mean, I've asked this before at Smart Cities, how can we build something up front in the 311 app and at the call center that sets the proper expectations?
Yeah, so you did ask a question. So I do want to step back a step in that right now again, San Jose 311 has 40,000 subscribers, right, in a city of almost 1 million people. So there's lots of other channels that we are talking about, and the ultimate goal from the technology perspective, which is going to come after a lot of the policy and procedure work, is that council members will have that 360-degree view of the customer and all their contacts in the city, including where it is in a case, what it's currently assigned to, what, if it's been resolved, what the resolution is, what communications went out. All of that is possible with today's, customer relationship management systems. And that's exactly what we're hoping to empower you, and what we will be empowering you and all the employees with is that 360-degree view of the customer. San Jose 311 is a channel with not all the services in it. So part of the reason this is a multi-year transformation is once we get the policies and the processes right, then we need to look across all of our departments and all of our systems and get that view of the customer and rationalize that view of the customer, so we don't have 50 Dave and Cohens because they contacted 50 departments in the past, right? We want a single view of the customer. We want a 360-degree view of all of the interactions and the current status of the interactions and your ability to add notes to those interactions, like the customer called you, but it's getting fixed and here's where it is. All of that is what we are talking about, and we will be empowering you with that, with this ultimate people, process, and technology solution that's going to take us over 2 years to deliver.
Although there may very well be 50 David Cohens in San Jose, and I hope all 50 will sign up for the app. I appreciate the focus on on CRM. I mean, when we first came into to our office, we were trying to figure out what is the system that's available to council members, and there wasn't one, and we had to decide: do we buy one? Do we build our own? I think having that single method of the same experience for everybody, no matter where they live in the city, and for us to be able to have a really good system to keep track of people would be very helpful. And then as we transition term to term, we don't have to reinvent things in every office all the time, and there's a good handoff as well, and an ability to look back in history. Because right now, we basically lose that history the minute a new person comes in, and we're starting from scratch with the residents. And from their perspective, you know, they've been working with the city for 5 years, but we don't know that. So that'll be very helpful. I appreciate that. I guess my question there would be, as things come into our offices and we submit them into CRM system and we shepherd them through the process, will that kind of all be then more automated in terms of how it gets to the right departments in the city?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I mean, our intention is to have that tool available. There's a difference between customer service and service delivery, but they are very much related. Is if something goes wrong with service delivery, then it becomes a customer service issue, and there's just customer service that needs to be provided as you go through a long-running process, because not many things in the city are really automated, right? So yes, that the visibility into like a case and where the case is something that the call centers, the dispatch, the San Jose 311, and council members all would have access to being able to see.
Great. I appreciate that. So I'll move we accept the report.
Second.
And I think there was a friendly amendment, but I'm not exactly sure I can word it. So whatever the friendly amendment was, I will accept as well.
Yeah, we'll be, so
or I'll let you rephrase your friendly amendment, I think, so be sure that.
And just to clarify, the motion is to approve the report and approve the customer service vision, standards, and recommendations and performance management framework.
Oh, that's right. There's more than just the first sentence, the accept.
Correct.
So we're accepting and approving, so I move both.
Accepting and approving. And we have a second, and we'll wait on the friendly amendment. Thanks for the great comments and questions. I, too, am very much looking forward to the citywide CRM. It's going to be a beautiful day. Councilmember Candelas?
Thank you. I too want to thank staff for their work on this, especially as it relates to improving the customer service journey for our residents. You know, as someone who's been a staff member for an elected official, I know how to navigate bureaucracy. And I'm encouraged by the staff that is making, increasing the seamless customer service experience with our city services for our residents. I do have one comment. It's piggybacking on something my colleague said earlier, was with a non-city issue, federal, state, county, special district, not just the county or not just, if something's not city related, I just want to say I'm glad that we're taking the extra step of researching a phone number or website for folks to use. That's assuming they're calling. Do we do the same with the 311 app if the question is submitted via the app or a question via the app?
Yes, it's actually the same team. So when you go into the SJ311 app, if the service option is not listed there, there is an option called Other Issues. When you click there, it is an open field where you can just put in your request. The same people who answer the telephones and who work on the first floor are the same people who respond to that. You would get the response via email, and we do the same type of research.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you. I think it's wonderful that we do that and do the handoff appropriately. And piggybacking on some comments from my colleagues Jimenez and Cohen, I want to encourage leveraging our council offices because we are masters of navigating bureaucracies, and we too can help, and we are an asset. So thank you for the report, and I look forward to this rollout.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Floyd?
Wonderful. Thank you for the presentation, Dolan and your team, and City Manager. I'm really happy to see the customer service initiative come forward. I know you brought it forward as something you wanted to work on in your first year as our city manager, and here it is finally coming to us, and I think it's great. We are a customer service organization, and how our residents and our customers experience interaction with us really defines how they feel their city is doing. And the customer is not necessarily just a resident, it's a business, and it's also us, because we as city council and our staffs are interacting with the departments all the time, and the response we get from staff or how we're able to interact with them is then how we then can communicate with our residents or businesses, whoever's contacting us for assistance, is really helpful in solving the problem and making it easy for everybody. It's about treating everybody with respect, with understanding, empathy, and being able to move forward to get to yes. When I first came to City Council, a little over 4 years ago, one of the first things I brought into my team was we need to get to yes. Now I realize we can't always get to yes, but we try to get to yes, and we try to show the community that we want to get to yes. And sometimes that means picking up the phone. Sometimes it means driving out and talking to the resident in person. Whatever method we need to engage someone, to show them the respect and understanding that they need, because sometimes they call us and they're frustrated and angry, and all they want to hear is just someone say, I hear you, here's what we can help you with. And that calms them down. Many people, some it doesn't, but most people it does. So I really appreciate the focus on customer service, and the number one thing that we need to work on really is culture and training. That's the first thing. So what's the first step that the team will go through to change culture or improve the culture to add in that customer service mind frame?
So the first thing we're going to be doing is actually some policy work, where we actually have a customer service policy. A lot of people don't know that. And we're going to be working to update the policy with the vision and standards. The second thing we're going to be doing is working to basically get kind of as training for the processes as is, because as we've identified, we have staff and residents who just don't understand through institutional change and loss of institutional knowledge, all the tools and processes that are available, and how we should conduct that interaction with the customer. I think where we'll start to hit the improvements much faster is when we do two things. As we design the new processes and new policies, we need all the departments and the directors and their service owners to take ownership, which probably means embedding them in the team for a while. We're piloting some of that with vehicle blight, where it's not just, we spend a little bit of time, here's the solution, does it work, right? We want the departments and the service owners to take ownership. And you take ownership when you've been part of the process and help shape it and help co-create it, and you've been there for a while and you've lived through it, and you come back and you're the evangelist to the rest of the department and the organization. So ownership, and then the second is celebrating, I should say rewarding success. And rewards can come in many shapes or forms, and success can come in many shapes and forms. But we need to start reinforcing the successes, and the successes will track back to some of those performance measures, so more quantitative things, but also qualitative things. And I know Kia does a lot of that with her team right now, but that needs to become business as usual. That we take ownership and we reward success.
And I'm going to add on to that a little bit. As part of ownership, as Dolan's outlined, it's also having the department employees feel empowered to mystery shop their own services, to make those suggestions, to because obviously there could only be so much stakeholder work, which was a lot during this initial stage, but that constant looking at the services and seeing it from a different perspective, like the customer's eyes, and also customer to customer from department to department. So I want that to be embedded in the culture as well as we take ownership and empower our employees to start making that list of things that we can do, those more quick wins, as Kia outlined, that aren't necessarily huge lifts, but things that they might encounter that they feel empowered to suggest to be fixed immediately, and we can make those as we're transforming and training and doing all the other things in parallel.
That's great, and empowering and rewarding is really important. The customer service experience doesn't start with and end with the receptionist. It may begin there with the first person who answers the phone, but that's not the person who solves the problem or handles it most delicately or most respectfully could be everyone along the line. It's not necessarily the first and it's not the last. It's everyone in between, and changing that culture or emphasizing that culture is really, really important. You talked about rewards. What are you thinking? Are you ready to roll that out yet?
I'm thinking E, all of the above. and it can be anything. Abstracting myself up to my 25 years as a consultant, I'll put that hat on right now. It can be anything from, this looking at the 7 standards and picking one person every day who showed excellence in one of those standards, and rewarded with a cookie from Insomnia, as we've done to do with some of our departments. It can be anywhere to performance assessments.
Great. I'm glad you're thinking broadly on what rewards could be, because it doesn't have to be monetary. It can be simply flowers. You've done a great job. Here's a rose, or a Starbucks card or something like that.
Right.
It's really it shows that we appreciate customer service, that we are recognizing customer service and how important that is. And we're thanking them for that.
Exactly, and that really is standard 8, the continual improvement across people, process, and technology. So standard 7. So we had 6 and we added 7 to make sure we're continually reinforcing all of the above.
Wonderful. I'm really excited to see this go forward. Thank you so much for bringing it to us.
Thanks, Councilmember. Councilmember Dewan.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the hard work in implementing the system. And I know that there's always room for improvement as we moving forward in the future. Your team, I believe that you guys have done an incredible job to start this program. And I just want to say thank you. I do have one question. Is that sometimes you get a report of let's say, an abandoned vehicle. You may get 20 different requests for the same vehicle. How do you lump that together, or how you reduce that amount of requests in the same exact vehicle or same location?
I know there's work going on the abandoned vehicle, so I'm going to have Khaled come down and address what they're currently working on.
Thank you for the question. Currently, we manage this manually. The goal with the redesign of the vehicle blight solution or workflow, that we want to kind of identify it before the customer can submit it. That way, if somebody already have done the work, then we can ask him, would you like to submit additional information instead of starting the process all over again. The second part we're trying to do also to have a parent-child relationship with the tickets. So if more than one department needs to serve that case, then we will have a way to tie the different, like Department of Transportation and Housing and code enforcement, anything like that. So these are the 2 things that we're looking at as we speak, and hopefully by the end of the month we'll have a redesigned or reprocessed option for the system.
Well, thank you very much. And again, I just grateful and thankful for the incredible team that put this together. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Councilmember. And we have Councilmember Batra.
So is this the time to make the friendly amendment? Okay. All right. So the amendment is for 5.2 to consolidate into a single CRM platform or have multiple platforms talk to each other to give appearance of a single platform. And there's two additional capabilities. One, enhancing anonymous reporting capability, which was just talked about in the 311. And the last one is making transfers between the city and county smoother or simpler. Okay, so.
Great. Does staff want to just interpret to what extent you feel that's already, if that's useful or is already captured in the work envisioned here?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember. So I think I need to bifurcate the recommendation from some of the more specific direction. So we're completely supportive of recommendation 5.2, changing to consolidate into a single CRM solution, where a solution can be virtual or physical. So I'm fine with just saying changing procure to consolidate into a single CRM solution, full stop. And Khaled and I have talked about that last night, and we're fine with that friendly amendment to 5.2. I think the other things I would take as we definitely things we would happy to explore as we look forward, either in with existing staff within their existing work plan, or take into consideration if we actually see this transformation get funded and move forward, we would consider those things for the future. But I would not, the report was not specific to getting into like detailed implementation like that. So I'd actually be modifying the report to I think I'd want to bifurcate those two things.
Okay. Councilmember,
Yes.
are you okay with framing your friendly amendment?
Yeah, the
along those
friendly
lines?
amendment is for the 5.2. The others are two actions for investigation.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right.
Great. And to the maker of the motion?
Yeah, I'll accept the amendment to 5.2.
Great. And was it Councilmember Foley was the second? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. I think we're close here. I just wanted to very quickly touch on 2 points. Again, really appreciate all of the work that has gone into this report, and I'm very excited to get underway here. Wanted to make the point first that we talked a lot about 311, but I think as Dolan pointed out, there are so many important touch points across city services and departments that this customer service vision and standards framework should be impacting. So I just want to make that clear to my colleagues. And that kind of gets to my question, Dolan, which is, it seems to me that what we're talking about here is probably, in the long run, 10% technology and 90% culture change and training and the way that we work. And you can feel free to disagree with that, but to the extent that it is about culture and process and practice, how do we support that and encourage and reward that kind of transformation within the city? Because I don't think it's enough to just buy a CRM and make some changes to the 311 app. So how do you imagine engaging the entire organization in the kind of culture change we want to create?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I think that certainly the value is going to come out of the policies and the process and the people. Because if we don't get that right, then the technology isn't going to help. In our first year is going to be focusing on those P's, so to speak, of the people, the process, and planning for the platform. In terms of the incentives and in terms of making the cultural change, I think it does go back to some of the discussions about part of having the centralized governance, even in a lightweight in the beginning in the CMO, is to have a team that will be working with all the departments and all the service owners on actually what we've developed here and what the standards are, in adopting those as a policy in the city, beginning to do pilots and continual check-ins with the service owners to begin looking at not only taking ownership for the future, but also measuring what matters and rewarding the successes in that area. So those are some of the initial thoughts we've taken on, and I think there's going to be a lot of other great ideas that actually, when we start talking to the frontline staff, they're going to have ideas as well. I think a lot of it does get down to measurement and performance, and it's not that we have a lot of enthusiastic, talented people, but if they feel or believe are actually being measured by time on a call or number of calls per day, then you are leading to not necessarily solving a solution, you're leading to getting to the next customer. So I think a lot of it actually does get down to adopting the policy as our North Star, the vision and the standards, working on training and working on identifying how exactly these teams are measured today, and potentially looking at different ways to measure and reward, so that we're focusing on the solution and not the transaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you anticipate that the way that we do performance reviews and consider promotions will be changed over time to reflect the best thinking and the values that are encapsulated in this report?
I will say yes.
Great. Glad to hear that. And then finally, our city manager talked about continuous measurement and improvement. Have we considered using some sort of outside independent audit as a way of, for lack of a better term, keeping us honest to making these changes and ensuring that we're continuing to provide excellent customer service across all these different touch points?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's many ways we would want to do that. It's an ideal practice that often doesn't happen when you get into the rush of trying to do a transformation, but you want to separate the people who understand the value that's to be delivered and how it's to be delivered from the people who are making the changes and documenting the processes and developing the technology. So I think abstracting kind of an unbiased third party that has knowledge of that. I don't want to prescribe any particular organization or person, because then I start to get into some procurement, guardrails. But certainly we would want to do that. I think that that would be one practice. The second practice is I was really thrilled 3 or 4 years ago when Rob pulled out a project charter, and I was like, thank heavens, we are actually beginning to document what we're supposed to do, and included that is what's the value that we're supposed to deliver. So as people are in the nuts and bolts of configuring an application or migrating data, they have a project charter that says, this is how it contributes to the value. This is how it contributes to these 7 standards in our customer service vision, so people don't forget and wind up, starting off designing a swing and you wind up with a tractor. So I think there's many different practices we'd want to employ here to make sure that the value we intend to deliver is the value that's being delivered during the development, so we don't get to actually, implementation and operations and find out we're not delivering that value. So we want to catch it early during the development process, is what I'm saying, as well as afterwards, so that we actually are making sure that we're fairly confident that what we're actually doing is going to deliver the value.
Yeah, thank you. Great. Well, thank you again to city staff. I'm excited for the journey we're about to embark upon. And Guidehouse, thank you for your work. I'm often skeptical of consultants, but I have to say this process was very robust, and I think you really dove very deeply into how we operate and produced a very substantive and useful framework here that's going to help guide us in the years ahead. So I appreciate the work you've done as well. With that, I believe we're ready to vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. We're on to item 3.5, actions related to the Coyote Creek ATP grant. And, okay, I'm seeing heads nod, no presentation. So let's go to public comment first.
I have no hands up.
No hands. Glorious day. Councilmember Torres.
Motion to approve item 3.5.
Great. And Torres, Councilor Torres, you did not have any further comment? Okay. All right. We're all excited. Great. Let's vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you. We're on to item 3.6, annual report on Measure T, disaster preparedness, public safety and infrastructure, general obligation bond program, proceeds and allocations. And I believe we do have a presentation from our public works team. Disaster preparedness, public safety and infrastructure, general obligation bond program.
All right.
Okay, I think we're ready for the staff presentation.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you while we get situated here. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Catherine Brown. I'm the Interim Assistant Director for the Department of Public Works. And I'm joined here today by Chair Nick Cochran and Vice Chair Gary Cunningham for the Measure T Community Oversight Committee. The focus of today's presentation is for Chair Cochran and Vice Chair Cunningham to present on the COC's annual report on the Measure T bond proceeds and allocations for last fiscal year, so 2021 and 2022. And then I just want to highlight that Public Works, myself and a few other members, as well as our partner departments, we will be coming back next week to give the Mayor and Council a more robust update on the Measure T program. So with that, I would like to hand this over to Chair Cochran, and he's going to walk you through the COC's presentation.
Thank you, Catherine. Is this coming through all right? I can't tell.
Yes.
Anyway, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, as Catherine indicated, my name is Nick Cochran. I'm current chair of the Community Oversight Committee. And I thought that before we get into the slide presentation, I would give you all a very brief overview of Measure T, simply because I think there's quite a few new council members that may not be completely read in on this bond measure. It was a $650 million bond measure that was passed by the voters of San Jose in November of 2018. The bond measure provides proceeds for disaster preparedness, public safety enhancements, and infrastructure improvements. The bond measure also included a provision requiring the establishment of a community oversight committee charged with ensuring that the bond proceeds are spent in accordance with the terms of the bond indenture and are spent on Measure T activities and projects authorized by the City Council. The COC is also required to render an annual report on its findings to the City Council. Our formal written report was issued on January 27th and forwarded to the City Council on February 13th. Today's presentation is a highly abbreviated review of that and to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. I'm not sure, okay. Depicted on that screen, I'm pleased to note, is the Emergency Operations Center, one of, I believe, 26 projects countenanced by Measure T that I guess it's completely completed and open. Is it not, Catherine?
Not yet.
Not yet? Close. Anyway, that's one of the flagship programs. Okay, so how do I don't know how this works. Green? Okay, thank you. Okay, the most important part of what we report on is the second paragraph there, that we have concluded that the bond issuance and related expenditures for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2022 have been reviewed by us to ensure that the proceeds have been used within the spending categories defined and authorized by Measure T and have been expended on a timely basis to ensure that the municipal bonds issued retained their tax-exempt status. This is a quick summary of the bond issuance status. It's been delivered in tranches. The bond was authorized in 2018 for a total of $650 million. 240 or about was issued in 2019, and there was another issuance in 2021 totaling 200 million. So we've had 440 issued thus far, and we have a remaining issuance of roughly $210 million. In the 3 years that the COC has functioned and the program has been operational, we have verified the proper usage of a little over $200 million, as indicated. And if we go to the next page quickly, you can scan down and see what the specific categories of funding was for. Traffic, of course, includes paving, bridges, LED streetlight conversion. Public safety is fire and police, including the Emergency Ops Center. Oh, no, that's under, yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry, confused with my notes here. Storm sewer is pretty much speaks for itself. Municipal improvements include clean water, green stormwater infrastructure, and environmental flood protection. And then park and community facilities deals primarily with community centers and emergency shelters. And you can see that that's the breakdown that's been spent under this program in the last 3 years. The next slide shows what the DPW's planned spending was for the 3 fiscal years that we've been on operation. It was $482 million was planned to be spent. During that same 3-year period of time, the actual spending was $232 million, or 48%. Now, a lot of that was brought about by the COVID era. And they're in the process of catching up, because one of the important points to note is item A, that 85% of any money received be spent within 3 years of issuance in order for the bond to continue to qualify for its tax exemption. Thus far, we're okay, but it is just something to be aware of. And through our report period ending last June 30th, 2022, Department of Public Works had not published a master project or plan schedule for the Measure T projects, which made it impossible for the COC to conclude whether DPW at that point was on track to complete all Measure T projects on time and on budget in accordance with its original scope. In December of last year, however, DPW did provide us with an updated project level budget, and you've heard from Catherine that they're going to be coming back to you with a much more robust evaluation of the project status. But suffice it to say that at that point, as of the end of December, we are going to be overspent if we continue on with all projects as currently scoped. We're going to be underspent by $26 million, okay? My guess is it's likely to get worse over time. The ravages of inflation and just kind of what goes on. If you've ever done a house remodel or anything at home, you know how this goes. It takes twice the time and twice the money. And to some extent, these projects aren't that much different. So, oops, it didn't work, did it? Oh no, I went too far. Can I go back? Is that the one? Okay. Sorry, I'm new to this technology. Let's go back one. Oh, it's not going back. Am I pointing in the right place? Yeah. Oh, there we go. So our first specific recommendation this year is for DPW to publish a master project plan schedule beginning with DPW's next annual semi-report to the council on June 30th, containing vital project level information, current spending plans, scope, etc., and every 6 months thereafter. We believe, as a committee, that this semi-annual report will greatly assist the COC in performing its mandated oversight, and more importantly, will be an invaluable resource to the City Council, you folks, in any required decision-making regarding the appropriate expenditure of remaining Measure T funds. There will have to be some changes made. I'm certain about that. Our second recommendation is a carryover from the prior year. Unfortunately, as many active commissions in the city are plagued with, we have significant vacancies in terms of seats. We have operated at about a 33% deficit for 3 years. There are several council district seats and one at-large city seat that have not been filled during that 3-year period of time. The problem that it creates is that oftentimes we are unable to obtain a quorum, and it ties our hands. We have more than once put together a meeting, including staff, all of the people present, and her, assistants and so on and so forth. After half an hour, have to cancel a meeting. And we raised this issue last year in the report to the council, and it's being raised again. And I'm going to take it one step further this year. I personally am going to reach out, and I made this commitment to my fellow COC members. I'm going to reach out to every council seat that has not filled that position and work with them through their community liaison office to try to identify appropriate people and solicit their involvement. I did get a response from one district when I went out a couple months ago, and they said, well, we just don't get a lot of people applying. Yeah, I get that, because most people don't know that there's an opportunity to serve on this, and I think it's something where you have to go out and buttonhole somebody and sell them on the need to do this. It's vitally important that we do this. So you're not going to get a flood of applications. It just isn't going to work that way. I mean, I wasn't breaking down the door to get on this committee either until Councilmember Davis buttonholed me, and that's why I'm here. Thank you, Deb. Anyway, also, I will make this offer on behalf of all of the members of the COC. We stand ready to participate in any district outreach or State of the District meetings that you would like to have any of us attend to help with people's comfort level about what's going on. $650 million is a lot of money, and if I think most residents are very much like I was, I had gotten to the point where I was absolutely convinced that most of this bond money that was passed, I don't mean just San Jose, I mean everywhere, went down the drain somewhere. Nobody knew where it went. Nobody knew what it was used for. I will tell you that what we do here is very important and creates a good liaison and connection with the city. So that offer stands. It stood last year. We'd be happy to do that at any point in time. In summary, I want to thank all of my Measure T colleagues for their considerable commitment of time and effort in working to compile this year's report to the City Council. As an aside, I've been on this mission for 3 years now, and I personally believe that this committee has evolved an excellent working model and useful template for all city committees and commissions charged with this type of important oversight. Let's not forget that the next time the city struggles with whether we should involve an oversight committee with a bond measure, because I know there's some skepticism and some pushback and yada, yada, yada. It's an added layer of whatever, but let me tell you, I think it serves a vital purpose and furthers the role of governance and citizen involvement in the city. So I would continue with that mission. I also want to acknowledge the Department of Public Works, and in particular Catherine Brown, for DPW's collaborative support this year. I mean, without what they do and their unwavering support and putting up with a lot of our complaints and requests and everything else, and she's great, and we got it done. And finally, a quick shout out to Council Member Batra, who until 6 weeks ago was an esteemed member of this committee, having served both as vice chair and chair. And on behalf of the entire COC, we wish Arjun the very best in his important new role as a council member for District 10. And I am happy to entertain any questions, albeit Councilmember Batra is equally capable of answering them as I am, but here I am, and Vice Chair Cunningham is here as well. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chair Cochran and Vice Chair Cunningham. We really appreciate your service on this Oversight Committee. We have had some excellent leadership on this committee and appreciated your reports every year. And I appreciate Councilmember Davis for some excellent buttonholing there. Well done. We do have some work to do to fill these seats. I appreciate you emphasizing that. We're going to see if there's public comment prior.
Blair?
Okay.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. I found it interesting with the new council person just named who was recently on the Measure T board that is now on council. I've made it kind of a point to try to mention at public comment time, you know, that Measure T, they've been a kind of interesting group in the past couple of years. And for all the previous work in the past few years around emergency preparedness, community emergency preparedness, that we've done really well in San Jose. Measure T, you know, they've done some really important work on road repair, on earthquake retrofit upgrades. I think it's really interesting work that they do as a commission. I hope people will want to be interested just to attend and listen in and see what they're about. And it's a good functioning infrastructure commission for the city that I hope overall we learn how to get people more involved in the commission process again, as in the past. It's good work and good effort. I hope they can work in the next year, as I mentioned yesterday, as say community energy can also work to make clear what we really can expect natural disaster-wise in the next coming year. To make that process open and clear to the public as they're trying to figure out ways to be more accessible as a community, that would help. That would be the good stuff. You know, and I mentioned the work I do with accountability with tech. If they can be well understanding of those things, it offers them an incredibly additional tool in their tool chest of how to address all the tech issues and pavement issues they have to work on. And that builds the community accessibility and just overall goodness that we try to strive for as a community process.
Back to council.
Great, thank you. We'll go to Councilmember Batra.
First of all, I got to thank all my colleagues of the COC, and I hope some of the training and the work they did with me will help me being a council member here. Okay. I do have a couple of questions for you. One, you're recommending or your observation about low rate of spending, which is likely to have an impact from 85% requirement that must be spent within 3 years. Are you concerned, and does the DPW agree with you that there is a concern of losing that privilege of tax-free money because of not spending timely?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Batra.
Yeah.
So Public Works, we're not concerned. We do have about $75 million worth of public safety projects that are going to be going out to bid within the next 6 months. So that's going to definitely help with some of that expenditure. Another just point of context, the expenditures don't necessarily show contracts that have been encumbered. So they show true expenditures. So once you pay a contractor, that will then show up. So we do have contracts that are encumbered, and they won't necessarily show up underneath the that master spreadsheet that we share with the COC. But as of this point, we're not concerned with the expenditures.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Second.
If I can just add,
Sure.
I don't think that, and I'll let Gary chime in if he wishes. I don't think we're concerned at this point. Just given the low rate of spend, we want the city council to be aware that this could possibly become an issue if the spending level doesn't, so far we've hit those bogeys, and but we're close. And and hopefully with COVID behind us, knock on wood, the spending will accelerate and the projects will get done and the money will get spent. And this will be an issue that will evaporate. But
okay. The second one, you have made a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just the obligation, or you say encumbrances. we should probably get a better handle on those that are obligated or encumbered, so that we get a kind of a better vision of that. And that's a good point. In the world I came out of, once funds were obligated on a contract, it was kind of considered that money was no longer available, and you got credit for that, so that would fall into that. So just some better visibility. Thank you.
Right. So I think we got it, that this is not a immediate concern item, but it is something which the council should keep an eye on it, along with the DPW, that we don't run into that situation. Okay, the second thing, your big recommendation is about having what you call master plan, which is generally known in the council circles is a roadmap, okay? So has that recommendation been accepted by the DPWD, or do we need to make it a requirement from the council if I agree with this one? Okay, Catherine, again, it's up to you.
Thank you for the next question. So we do keep a general roadmap. I think that something that we can improve on is possible, transparency with our partners in the COC. And so I think that's a commitment that we're willing to make. We also do have an online tool that keeps track of all of our projects, the CPMS database, and so that is publicly accessible as well. So I think we can probably pull reports off of that publicly accessible database and share those with the COC members, because that's what we typically utilize as that master spreadsheet or master roadmap.
Yeah, as you can appreciate, Councilmember Batra, as time marches on, given that we're already, based upon DPW's latest spreadsheet update, which was shared with the COC in December, we're already 26 million below the water line in terms of if we spend everything that we currently see in the hopper to get everything done as currently scoped, we're going to be $26 million short. My guess is an iteration or two from now, that number is probably going to grow. It's just kind of the nature of the way things tend to work these days. And there needs to be, we can't get, these updates have to be done more frequently than every 3 years. We recommended every 6 months coming to the City Council, because if there need to be project scope changes, alterations, elimination of projects or whatever, you folks are going to have to make that decision. Okay, that isn't something the COC does, it isn't something the DPW does, but you're going to have to get ahead of that and be thinking about, well, I don't know, do we want this fire station or this, whatever it is. There's 26 identified projects, half of which is dedicated to road maintenance, paving, bridges, and that sort of thing. So it narrows the field a little bit. It's like the federal government trying to deal with their budget problems. So we're trying to give you the early warning light to make sure that you're getting the information real time and not have it after you throw up your hands and go, oh my God, wish we had known about this earlier, what do we do now? And I think they're on board with this. I've not gotten any sense that DPW doesn't want to do this. They recognize the gravity of this as well.
Yeah, so I think those are both good observations and recommendations, but I believe that those have been accepted by the DPWD, and they will improve their reporting, so it doesn't need a resolution or a action item from the council to be directing. Is that what I'm gathering? I'm happy to hear that.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear that the COC has done its job and DPWD has collaborated with them.
We are not at odds on this at all,
okay.
Believe me.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for the report, and thanks for allowing me to work with you guys for 3 years.
We're missing you already.
Great, thanks, Council Member. Okay, we've got a lot of hands here. Popular topic. So, Council Member Ortiz is next.
I just want to thank the chairman and all staff who are working on this very important topic. Safety preparedness, infrastructure, disaster preparedness, all really important for the entire city and our residents. I did notice that my district is one that has a vacancy, so I just want to commit to working with you to find someone to be placed on that committee. I don't know if there's a link that could be shared with my office that has details in regards to it, but I just wanted to commit to doing that. Thank you.
Rest assured, I'll be reaching out to you, sir.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Appreciate that commitment. Get ready to buttonhole somebody. My new favorite phrase. Councilmember Davis, speaking of which.
Thank you. I do want to thank Nick and Gary for coming today. And Nick, thank you for saying yes. I did not get any applicants for the COC when it originally posted. And I literally just thought, who is one of my residents who is the most fiscally minded person who might be willing to do this? And it didn't take much convincing. So I'm very grateful that you said yes.
Happy to do it. Sure.
And I want to thank the entire COC for all of their work. Councilmember Batra already discussed this at length, so I just am going to ask outright to Matt Lush, are you accepting of the COC's recommendation number 1 to come to the council semi-annually with an update on project status and funding?
So, yes, Matt Lush, Acting Public Works Director. Yes, we'll be here every 6 months. We'll actually be here next week talking about projects. Yes.
Excellent. This report reminded me, I didn't remember we had a third of the funds that we hadn't issued bonds for, which made me cringe a little bit given the current interest rate situation and the higher construction costs that we've had since our last issuance. Will your update include kind of what the outlook is for the third tranche of bond issuance? I'm assuming finance would be part of that, but is that part of what's going to come to us
Next week?
Yeah.
We were not talking about the financing projections next week. We're talking about project updates and some projects shifting around a bit. Some of the things that Nick has forecast a little bit for us, yes. So we're not talking about bond issuance next week.
Okay. Do you know when that's coming, or that might be a question for the city manager's office?
We'll have to get back on that one for sure. Yeah. We'll dig into finance and get the details on the timeline of that.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thanks, Councilmember. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Chair Cochran and Vice Chair Cunningham. I know that this is a lot of work. I'm very grateful that Gary is a D1 representative, and I know that this is volunteer work that you do, and I just appreciate it so much, and all of the work that you both do for our community. I have a clarifying question regarding the contracts that are encumbered or obligated and whether or not they are on your table. We received a table regarding Measure T audited use of funds versus planned spending and total expected expenditures by major category. So those that have been obligated, are they part of what is reflected here?
No, no. In our complete report, in our complete report, which is rather lengthy, there is an expanded data set that includes the encumbrances by category, and I think the encumbrance. So what this reflects, this ties into the auditor's report for the year, which, as Catherine pointed out, is primarily a cash-based type of document. I think it was something like. Yeah. As of the end of last June, which was our reporting period, the additional encumbrance, that which had been, I'll use the word obligated, it is not carried as a liability on the city's balance sheet, but it's obligated. Right. Yeah. And it's a nuance as to, the liability versus the contractual obligation and so on, but that represented an additional almost $32 million.
Okay.
So that's what had, it's as if that had been spent because they had earmarked an additional $32 million to spend on aspects of projects that they had already let, for bid and so on and so forth. So.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
And we do get that number every year, and it is included. We've got a lot of, very detailed reports in there, but I didn't want to bog everybody down on that today, but it's in there.
Well, again, thank you so much.
Sure.
Great, thanks, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Cohen?
Yeah, thank you, and I want to thank you for bringing the report forward. I'm particularly interested in your first recommendation. I think it's important for us to have that published schedule and update that's continually current. I just use this opportunity every time we talk about Measure T to bring up Fire Station 23, which is the very last fire station on the list. It's the fire station in District 4 that I represent. As time goes by, I get more and more nervous that we're not going to be able to fund the replacement of that fire station that's still in a small house on a street corner in a growing part of the city. So we'll have more discussion about that next week, but I just didn't want to let the opportunity go by to mention it again, the importance of having the schedule and having something in front of us so we can always know what the status is of some of those further out projects.
You know, I mean, listen, you folks are going to have some heavy lifting to do here in the next year, 2, 3, 4 years. What you don't want are 4 or 5 half-built fire stations. You know, you're going to have to make some tough decisions. I mean, I don't know whether it's going to be fire station. I have no idea. That's not our purview. But some difficult decisions are going to have to be made.
Right.
That's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, there's 26 of these projects there, and they're reported on in the auditor's report. They're reported on in the auditor's report. So this is what we want to get a scope on, the beginning and the end. What's the projected end date, and just to get some visibility. We don't need to get into the weeds on them, but just get that visibility of these 26. And then, like in your case, in that fire, where is that along that train? We don't have that now.
Yeah,
right?
we don't know.
We don't know what that is.
It's a good question. We don't know the answer.
Yeah, and I wasn't necessarily asking you for the answer, but next week we'll have more discussion on the
We
answer.
need to look at that.
But I appreciate what I appreciate about your report is that you are anxious to be able to see quickly what the entire plan was and how well we are executing toward that plan and what we might be having to adjust later. And I think that's important for us to see.
You know, I view what we do, really, we're responsible to the voters for performing this function. And one of these functions is the city council approved in 2019, 26 projects. Are we going to do 26 of them? I mean, if we start going up in front of district, council meetings, well, how about Fire Station 23? Well, don't know. We have to get back to you on that. Those are not very satisfying answers to have to make to the constituents. And we feel like we're the bridge between what DPW is trying to get done, the amount of money that's available, and the decisions you folks have to make. So we're all kind of on the same team, trying to get this done in the same way that maximizes $650 million. And, interest rates have gotten in the way now, and inflation has ravaged the price of doing everything, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We don't have a motion yet, do we?
We do.
Okay, I guess I'll move to accept the report.
Second. Was it Councilmember Torres who got the second, I think? Okay. And Councilmember Cohen, did you have anything else? Or is that okay, great. We're on to Councilmember Torres.
Good afternoon. Thank you to our community oversight committee and our staff. Investing in our fire stations, community centers, and other infrastructure in our city is very important. I saw the fine print, and I'm very glad that we're also investing in our public art. So Measure T monies went into our public art. I do have a question. I see that we got to put up my notes. Maybe I don't have to pull up my notes. I see that we invested millions of dollars into traffic safety. Is that money for Vision Zero? Can we officially say it was money for Vision Zero?
I see John Risto in the audience. I am going to...
Or Vision Zero projects?
Yeah, I'm going to defer this question to John, if that's okay.
Great, thank you, yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember John Russo, Director of Transportation. The only Measure T funds are for pavement and bridge repair.
Okay, so in the report, the city-owned bridges?
Yeah, you said city.
The city, yeah, it said bridge. Okay, so
just city bridges, right?
No money goes into Vision Zero.
Well, no, and it's really actually pretty restrictive what we're using Measure T funds. It's the worst condition roadways for now that we all know about our pavement condition index. It's 49 and below, so that's the only thing. And then repair bridges.
Great, thank you. And then also, that's it, John, sorry. And then I'm just gonna go back to the committee. I also saw that we have a vacancy in District 3. So I am making sure to, what is the term? Buttonhole somebody to serve on this committee. So I will work with you all to get somebody from District 3 to be on this very, very important committee, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Torres. And just so you know, the question that you asked to some extent can be answered. In our complete report, there is a very extensive matrix, which we start from the bottom up and build this by district, by project. So you can see what has been spent by district and by project. So if you want to take the time or have any interest, you can, it's a big ask, but it's there. The information is there. Okay?
Column 3.
Great. That appears to exhaust our questions. Once again, Nick and Gary, just want to thank you for your leadership on the Oversight Committee. Really appreciate the reports we've received. Glad that we'll be getting even more regular updates on project status. I do think that's very important, and appreciate you pushing us to fully staff this committee so it can continue to do its important work.
Well, it's really important for another reason, and that is that every year we rotate chair and vice chair, and if we don't get the thing fully populated, we're not going to have anybody to do it. So,
Yeah,
you know,
great
because this committee has a pretty long runway, probably another 5-6 years. I don't know how long it'll take to spend all this money, but
yeah,
we got a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Okay, with that, I believe we're ready to vote. Great, that passes unanimously. Thank you again for the report. Have a great afternoon. We are on to our final agendized item, item 3.7. And I'm not quite clear why this isn't on consent, but looks like we have a council member traveling as part of the SPUR study trip. Do we have any presentation, comments? Okay, let's go to public comment.
There are no hands.
No hands. All right.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, I think Councilmember Ortiz got the second comment. We're ready to vote. Yeah, enjoy Detroit. Hey, it's city on the rise. Okay, did we get it?
We're waiting on one.
We're waiting on one.
There we go.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, everyone. We are on to open forum.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. As we're in a new administration, new council person, I hope the ideas of openness and accountability will be much respected and much thought of as how to creatively think of how to work towards such concepts in the coming years. I think it's important concepts how we need to always think about how to improve our words, how we talk to the public about subject matter. We have a certain set pattern in the way that we talk about issues that thankfully for the election process can be a time to introduce how to better communicate our ideas and concepts, and what that's how you develop continuing ideas of openness and understanding for community. I think those are really important subjects that facts can be missed. In the previous item, a few nice words were spoken and asked about that wasn't answered very well, that a degree of subtlety needs to be offered in how to talk about the issues. You can't make blanket statements that dismiss facts. And we have to learn how to more subtly offer that possibilities are there, how issues take place and items within things. So good luck in those efforts. It's really important to me how we talk about the future of tech and data collection. We can't just use blanket statements and assume that the community isn't listening. You have to make real concerted efforts to understand that the community really knows what's going on, what you're doing to the future of tech. And you keep offering statements that ignore basic concepts of what is actually happening. And that's frightful and fearful. And that's not the kind of future I don't think we should be working towards. If you offer openness, you'll receive openness in return and trust.
Back to council.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. We're adjourned.